I want to discuss issues in TAT 2.2, and specifically try to relate the handbook's equations with what I recommend when I made the videos and made the slides. So when you are faced with a reaction, and you know we lose, it's easy to work with A's and B's, but we lose some of the value in terms of how real reaction stoichiometry actually will look. Is if you now were tasked to calculate the del H of that reaction, you would say, all right, it's the formation standard state of B minus 2H formation of A. Everybody happy with that? Okay, and that thing has got different kinds of units. You can describe it in different unit sets. So you can say, all right, this thing has got units of, and let's say we've got now min 5,000 kilojoules per something. Okay, it is 5,000 kilojoules per every 2 moles of A that reacted. That's a legit unit system. Or it is equal to min 5,000 kilojoules per 1 mole of B formed. Or it is min 5,000 kilojoules per mole reaction. And this is what I recommend, because this is the energy balance basis that everybody who passed CTD is supposed to be familiar with, is regardless, I am not going to manipulate my reaction stoichiometry when I calculate the del H reaction. So I actually calculate it on per mole reaction. So if I want in my energy balance, if I want to see that del H part of my del H sum, del H due to a change in T, del H due to the reaction, that term must be in kilojoules per time. Kilojoules per time, right? So if I have this in kilojoules per mole reaction, and so it's just a thought paradigm that you must change between the different unit sets, whichever one makes sense to you. So either I must multiply it with something, so either I must say, take your del H reaction and multiply it with something that has got units of divided by 2, and then multiplied by the amount of moles of A that reacted. Or you can say, I'm going to use this basis, and I'm going to multiply it by the moles of B formed per second in that reactor. Or I'm going to take it and I'm going to multiply it by the mole reaction per second, which is that epsilon that I recommend on the slides. Right. So the epsilon, why I like the epsilon approach, is specifically related to this tattoo, where I want you to make mistakes if you work with conversion blatantly without ignoring what is actually, without working with molar flow rate. So I would do this. I recommend this if B1, FB1 and FA0. And I've got my temperature 1 for all these streams, and I've got temperature 2. And these are the variables I want to work with. And then it's easy for me to translate molar flow rates to conversion, to translate molar flow rates to conversion. So let's just, epsilon, for instance, over the second reactor. So there I want to know what is the del H reaction term over reactor 2. So I have to say it is equal to, so epsilon times del H, and my epsilon will be equal to Fa2 minus Fa1 divided by the stoichiometric number of A. And the stoichiometric number of A is minus 2. Remember, that thing has got units. It's got units of mole A per mole reaction. Yeah. So this thing has got units of mole reaction. This is my epsilon that I then multiply my del H reaction for reactor 2. And now I can decide, do I want to write this Fa1? How do I want to define the X? Times 1 minus Fi0 times 1 minus x over reactor 1? Do I want to write Fi2 as Fi0 times 1 minus over all x? Or do I want to write the Fi2 as Fi1 times 1 minus just the incremental x over that reactor? And then I will not get myself confused, because it's easy if you have a drawing like this. Always go back to paper, make your drawing, so that you can see what am I calculating. I want to see how much energy is released due to this reaction. I want the del F. Or if I want to have my units in per mole reacted, I need to find out how many moles reacted of A reacted over that thing. And then I have to change my del H reaction. What Vogler does in his approach, let me just get an eraser and write, check. No, color there. What Vogler does is, if he had a reaction like that, but he does it very subtly, okay? He says, to avoid all these issues, to make sure that all my units, regardless of my thought experiment, will be the same, I would like to base everything on my limiting reagent. So before I calculate del H reaction, I divide by mu of A. So I divide all the absolute value then. So I will have A that goes to half B. And if he calculates a del H reaction in this case, the units, whether it is in joules per mole reaction or in joules per mole A reacted, will have exactly the same value. Okay, but that is not what happens in real life. In real life, and I realized this when people started struggling when they have to do their design projects, and it's not A's and B's and C's anymore. It's actually some carbons and oxygens and hydrogens and stuff. Is that it's a more general approach, because heats of reactions will be calculated based on the stoichiometry as it's written there. And then it will have del H reaction, and it will have units of joules per mole reaction. No. So please then, my recommendation is use FAs. And later you can make sure that you use the correct X's that make sense to you to calculate your molar flow rates. Happy? Questions on this? Let's just see from the floor. Hands up. Crystal clear. Okay, another point that I want to make is in terms of the mass balance. So if I now have my two reactors like this, okay, right. So now I'm not even going to bring 2A that goes to B. And once again, we've got this conundrum with the A's and the B's. But what you must realize is that the molar mass of B will be equal to double the molar mass of A. Right? Agreed? Cool. So if I have that and I have Fa0, here I have Fa1, here I have Fb1 and Fb1. Here I have just Fa1 and here I have Fa2. So what I suggest, when we want to do a mass balance, if I want to do a mass balance, just over this mixing point. So let's say I just want to do a mass balance over this mixing point or over this over there. Calculate, this is stream 1, this is stream 2, and this is stream 3. Right, so mass of 1 must be equal to mass of 2 plus mass flow rate of 3. This I can calculate as Fi0 times molar mass of A is equal to Fb times molar mass of B, etc. And this is Fa1 molar mass of A. Now I substitute that in terms of the molar mass of A, okay? And if I want to calculate the volumetric flow rates of the different streams, I need the density, because this is equal to Q0 times rho 0, which is equal to Q1 times rho 1 plus Q, what's my number, sorry, Q2 times the density of 2 and the density there of stream 3 times volumetric flow rate of 3. You are interested in calculating this volumetric flow rate. So I suggest do this. I'm not going to do it for you any, oopsie, it's a daisy. Okay, where is the pointer? There we go. No. Ooh. Okay, let me try something else. Green. So if you do this balance over there, okay, write FB and FA1 in terms of conversion over that reactor, okay. Substitute that in terms of the molar masses, make the densities equal, and then see how Q2 and Q3 relate to Q0. Okay, hint to you to see what that implication of equal densities imply if you do the mass balance. It's easy, but it's easy to overlook as well, especially if you're lost in some other theory. Any other questions that I must address before I stop the recording? From the floor online? Okay, that's it for now. I'm going to stop the recording. Thanks, Dean. Oh, sorry, wait, there was a question. Let me just check. FI2 should be FB2. FI2. No, hang on. Let me just explain. Let me just